Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're setting out on, well, a journey. Not your typical A to B trip, though.
No, not at all. This is more about curiosity, discovery, really appreciating the world as it unfolds.
Exactly. And our source for this is pretty unique. It's a tabletop role-playing game called Wanderhome.
Penned by J. Dragon. And yeah, it really turns expectations on their head. No dragon slaying here.
Right. No conquering kingdoms. It's quieter, more reflective, maybe.
Definitely reflective. Our mission today is basically to unpack how Wanderhome gets you into this different kind of narrative.
One that's built on, like, collaboration, empathy,
Mm.
just being present in this shared world.
You might have some aha moments about what a game can even be. It really pushes those boundaries.
So before we dive deep, give us a quick taste. This world, Heath.
Heath, yeah.
Yeah?
Imagine a beautiful, boundless land full of life, populated by animal folk.
Animal folk. Oh.
Yeah, pigeon merchants, squirrel musicians, gecko fishermen. The book even mentions a very distinctive bartending toad.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
And hospitality is huge there.
Mm-hmm.
Conflict. Conflict is handled very, very differently. We'll get into that.
All right, let's get into the philosophy then, because that sounds like the core of it. The book opens with this line. It's quite something.
Oh, yeah. Which one?
It says, most books contain stories. They often know where the story will go. But one must be careful with stories. They are violent and cruel things after all, full of heroes and villains and triumph and conquest.
Wow. Yeah, that sets a tone, doesn't it, right from the start? It's almost anti-story in the traditional sense.
Totally. It feels like it's positioning itself against the usual game narratives.
It absolutely is. The contrast is the whole point. It's not about a story, a plot you follow to victory. It's about the journey.
The journey itself.
Yeah, letting it unfold organically. It explicitly says you create characters and worlds through conversations and our dreams.
So less about a rigid plot and more about experience.
Exactly. The game trusts that the path you take is the right path, even if choices seem contradictory later or you abandon threads.
That sounds freeing, actually. Not knowing exactly what happened, but knowing the journey was right.
Mm-hmm. It's about the lived moments, not some fixed outcome.
Okay, so this journey takes place in Heath. You said it's gentle, boundless. Tell us more about this place.
Right. So Heath is described as beautiful and boundless, full of life and soul. Small communities, yeah.
Okay.
Separated by big stretches of wilderness, and they're connected by simple things. Dirt paths, rivers, waterways.
Maybe the odd hot air balloon.
And filled with those animal folk and buggy livestock.
Yeah. And pets, wild creatures, like herds of chubby bumbles, stag beetles the size of houses. It's very imaginative.
Sounds incredible. And the culture there, you mentioned hospitality.
Oh, it's central, a widespread culture of hospitality. The idea is travelers can always find somewhere to stay. Always get food and water.
Just based on trust.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
The core belief is if you're kind and mean well, you'll be welcomed with open arms.
That's lovely. But here's the bit that really grabbed me from the outline.
Let me guess. The violence thing. Yes. The text says, in the Heath, we'll be meeting people who are fundamentally good. And then explicitly, the Heathland was recently caught in war, but is no longer, there is no violence here anymore.
It's a radical statement for an RPG, isn't it?
Completely. So how does that work? What do players do if there's no fighting? What are the challenges?
That's the genius of it, I think. It redefines conflict. The only exceptions are these super rare figures, the mighty generals, lords, people weighed down by power from the past war. But they're anomalies.
So you as a traveler aren't solving problems with force?
Not at all. You are never going to solve a place's problems. That's not your role.
Okay, so what is your role?
It's more about easing pain. Tackling short-term issues, giving someone a tool, maybe metaphorically, that might help them later. It shifts focus from heroic confrontation to, like, compassionate intervention.
Right. Helping, not conquering.
Exactly.
If the journey is all about conversation, does the game give you tools for that? To make sure it stays, healthy and collaborative?
Oh, definitely. Explicitly. They're called journeying tools, and they're basically guidelines for good communication.
Like what you mean example?
Okay, so there's one called, let's do this instead. If a situation feels uncomfortable or unsafe for anyone, anyone can just say that and suggest an alternative. Like maybe there's a safer path, or maybe we just change the topic. You're not forced down a path you don't like.
Wow, that's built-in agency right there. You don't feel trapped.
Precisely. Then there's do we want to, which is just asking the group before heading into something unknown. Getting consensus.
Makes sense. Keep everyone on board.
And where to next if you get stuck. Or what do you think? That's a nice one for drawing quieter people in.
Yeah.
Making sure everyone has space.
You know, these sound less like game rules and more like really good rules for any group discussion.
They absolutely are. That's part of the beauty. They're transferable skills.
So what else is in that toolkit for player safety and making sure everyone feels okay?
Well, hold on, which lets you just pause everything. Take a break, switch topics, address something if someone felt hurt.
It's crucial?
And maybe the most powerful.
Right.
Is the word no. The game makes it an explicit tool.
Just no.
Yep. You have complete authority to reject anything that we don't want. No one can make you do something you're not okay with, period.
That is a remarkable level of care designed right into the core.
It really is.
Yeah.
And finally, there's even a walking away, acknowledging that if the game isn't working for you, if it's not healthy, you can leave.
Wow. Okay. So let's shift to resources. Most games have gold, XP, stats. What does Wanderhome use if it's not about power?
It uses tokens, but they're not what you'd expect. The game says they represent a rhythm. Sometimes we give others all we have to offer, and through that, we can find strength.
So not currency for buying gear or spells.
Not at all.
Yeah.
It completely subverts that.
Yeah.
You earn tokens for acts of care, acts of observation.
Like what? How do you get them?
Things like inconvenience yourself to help someone else, or give away something you hold dear.
Oh, wow. Vulnerable stuff.
Yeah. Or leave an offering to a small or forgotten god. Speak your true feelings. Even just take a moment to bask in the grandeur of the world and describe it.
So earning tokens is about being present, kind, vulnerable. That's a profound shift.
It reframes what progress or earning even means in a game context.
Okay, so you gather these tokens of compassion. How do you spend them? What impact do they have?
You spend them to shape the narrative in compassionate ways, to make a positive difference.
Can you give examples?
Sure. You could spend one to provide a solution for an aspect of a material or immediate problem, or to ease someone's pain.
Ah, so direct, helpful actions.
Exactly. Or keep someone safe, offer someone the chance to connect, maybe even find what someone needs to give them a chance to change fundamentally.
So player impact isn't about damage, it's about ripples of kindness, healing, connection.
You got it. It's basically gamified empathy.
That's fascinating. And sticking with atypical mechanics?
Yeah.
Failure. Does Wanderhome have failure states? Can you lose?
It's really interesting how it handles this. The book points out, you might notice that nothing Wanderhome tells you to do concerns itself with failure.
Huh. So no fail state.
Not in the traditional sense.
Yeah.
It says you can choose to fail if you want, narratively.
Right.
But the game doesn't impose it.
So what about struggle? Things going wrong.
It acknowledges struggle, absolutely. Getting passed over, doing something you regret, hitting your limits. But it frames these as just part of the journey, not failures in a pejorative sense.
Just part of the ebb and flow.
Exactly. The journey simply continues, maybe down an unexpected path.
Okay, I think a lot of people listening might be really intrigued now. If someone wants to try this, what do they actually need to get started?
Well, it's really simple, actually.
Yeah.
You need the book, obviously physical or digital, some paper or digital copies for notes, writing utensils, and some tokens could be anything. Pebbles, beads, buttons.
That's it.
That's the core. The book also recommends, snacks, water, comfy chairs, friendly vibes. But the essentials are minimal. Focus is on comfort and accessibility.
Nice. And before you start playing, you mentioned setting things up together, these journey questions.
Yeah, that's a key step. Before you make characters, the group discusses these questions to get on the same page of the kind of journey you want.
What sort of questions?
Things like, how long are we expecting this journey to last? Or importantly, do we want a more pastoral and upbeat journey? Or a world that lingers more heavily on trauma and recovery?
Ah, setting the tone.
Exactly. Also, do we want a more personal journey? Or a more tangled journey filled with mysterious and magical forces? And you decide if you want someone to be a guide or share that role.
Okay, let's talk characters. How do you make one if it's not about, like, strength scores or combat skills?
You choose a playbook.
Yeah.
And these aren't stat blocks. They represent a specific kind of person you might find across the heath.
Can you name a few?
Sure, there are 15 in the core book. Let's see, the Caretaker, the Dancer, the Exile, the Firelight, the Fool, the Guardian, the Peddler, the Poet, the Ragamuffin, the Teacher, the Veteran. Lots of evocative archetypes.
They sound very thematic, and character creation involves inversions.
Yeah, often things like choose two you are and two you're not from a list of traits. It prompts reflection. The game also explicitly mentions journeys being spaces for queer self-reflection, especially our gendered language. Characters are meant to be mutable and fallible. They change.
That allows for a lot of depth and personal connection. Okay, so you have these characters. How does the world itself get described and populated if there's no single GM usually?
That's the shared storytelling kicking in again. The principle is, we are all responsible for giving a voice to the world we travel through.
Meaning everyone chips in.
Everyone. Anyone can pick up details about the current place or voice one of the inhabitants, the kith.
Kith, so NPCs.
Right, and the guideline is to play them with compassion and respect. Give them something distinctive they're passionate about, like that pigeon merchant obsessed with rare moss.
Okay, and the places?
Places are built from 3 natures. These can be literal or metaphorical descriptions, things like comfortable, burdened, liminal, sprawling, lonely, desolate. You combine 3 to create the feel of a location.
So everyone is constantly co-creating the world as they explore it.
Pretty much. It's very dynamic.
You mentioned the optional guide role earlier. How is that different from a standard game master?
It's much more facilitative.
Yeah.
The guide is just a player who agrees not to take a playbook. Instead, they focus on handling the places, the kith, the seasonal changes.
Why choose that route?
It can be good for introducing new players, maybe, or if a group just prefers having someone steer the setting a bit more consistently. But playing without one, with fully shared control, is totally the default. It reinforces that collaborative spirit.
Right, keeping everyone empowered. Now, time itself seems important, the great arc of the year.
Yeah, the passage of time is really built into the game's rhythm. Heath has 5 seasons, each lasting 2 months in-game.
5, not 4.
5. Leap, Bright, Breathe, Silt, and Chill. Each has 2 named months within it, like Tilsoil and Monsoon for Leap.
Okay.
And each 2-month season ends with a holiday festival. After a full cycle of 5 seasons, a new year begins, and the group names it together.
Giving you a sense of shared history, what happens at these holiday festivals?
They're treated as liminal times, perfect for self-reflection and contemplation. Mechanically, during a holiday, you choose a new advancement for your character.
Advancement, like leveling up.
Sort of, but Wanderhome style. You might learn a new ability from your playbook, let go of built-up exhaustion, gain or spend tokens for unique narrative effects. It ties character growth to the world cycle.
That's neat. And what are these phenomena mentioned in the outline?
Ah, those are cool. They're unique events that can happen based on how the group answers certain questions at the start of some months.
So player input directly shapes world events.
Exactly. For example, during the monsoon month, if lots of players say their characters are looking for shelter from the rain, a great flood phenomenon might occur, literally turning the place you're in into a temporary lake. It makes the world feel alive and responsive to the character's immediate needs and experiences.
That's a really organic way to handle world events. Okay, what about the characters themselves? Do they just wander forever?
The game acknowledges that characters someday have to choose to leave their playbook and the journey behind.
Why might they do that?
Maybe they find a place to settle down, finally.
Yeah.
Or they realize they need to strike out on their own path. Or maybe they've just grown and changed so much that their current playbook doesn't fit anymore, and they need to find a new one.
Is that like character death?
Oh, no, not at all. It's gentle. The game stresses you can still run into them later. It reinforces the idea that the journey is bigger than any of us. It's just a natural transition.
A gentle goodbye, not a final end. And how does it handle different group sizes? Can you play solo or with a huge crowd?
Yeah, it's super flexible. Journeying solo is explicitly supported. Just you, the book, your imagination.
Yeah.
A very meditative way to play. And it also works for large events with lots of people. It encourages side conversations, smaller groups splitting off and coming back together. It doesn't demand everyone be in the same scene constantly.
Very adaptable then.
Extremely. It fits that whole gentle, inclusive philosophy.
Well, this has been a fascinating deep dive. Wanderhome really does sound like a genuine alternative to the usual RPG fare. A focus on collaboration, care, the journey itself. It's refreshing.
It really is. It's not just about the rules, is it? It's a whole framework for interacting, for listening empathetically, for creating something beautiful together.
Yeah, skills that definitely apply way beyond the game table, finding meaning in the process, not just chasing an endpoint.
Building connections through the narrative.
The book ends with this line, "The road is a river that carries me home. I trust the song." It leaves you thinking.
It does.
So, for everyone listening, what does your journey look like? What song does it sing within you? And thinking about Wanderhome, what tools do you carry to navigate its paths?